My name is it-Bisi Alimi. I am a pretentious writer, a poet. I lecture in a university, was born in Lagos, and grew up in the slum of Mushin, so I'm a Mushin boy to the core. I've always loved reading. I think my passion for writing was something I picked up along the way. I live in London, and I lecture at Humboldt University in Berlin on pre- and post-colonial sexual orientation and gender identity in Africa. What do I think can be done to soften the impact of homophobia on the LGBT community in Nigeria? Well, I think I will look at it from three different strands, basically, or even more, but when I remember the fourth one, I'll say it. But from three different strands. And I think the first one is there's a need for coming out. Because there's this conception that, these gay people are, or these lesbians, or these bisexual people, or these trans people are, like demons with two horns and, tail. And it's so imaginary to millions of Nigerians that they cannot connect with it. And when you can't connect with something, you believe whatever it is that you hear about it. So it's about reading the story of Harry Potter, for example. People believe some of the images in Harry Potter, all in Star Wars, and they don't know that this is not fictional. But when LGBT people come out, then people can relate and understand that, this LGBT person is my brother, is my sister, is my uncle, is my aunt, it's somebody that's very, very close to me, is my neighbor. And that will make people question what they know. And I'm saying this from a very personal experience because every time I'm in the news, I get people that come and attack me, but I also get people that come and want to know who I am and want to understand what it is about me. And I think that helps a lot of people, and I think it's important. Number two is then why would I want to come out in a society like Nigeria, where coming out will automatically means I get killed? And so that becomes the responsibility of the open-minded liberals, people that are accepting to become the crusader. So they have to be the go-between, between the people that don't understand and want to lynch me, to the people, to me, who I am and wanting to occupy its space that practically belong to me within the society. So there's a room for the liberals to be more outspoken, most especially within the literary community, to write more, to do more films, to do more radio shows, to do things that would make us challenge what we know and make us ask questions. And I think the fourth one lies with the policymakers in the country. The rule of law and democracy is about the powerful protecting the vulnerable. That was the whole essence of the rule of law. The LGBT people in Nigeria are vulnerable. Women in Nigeria are vulnerable. Young girls in Nigeria are vulnerable. Certain ethnic groups in Nigeria are vulnerable. And it becomes the responsibility of the government to put laws in place that will protect these people and will not alienate them. And I think we need the political willpower, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa, where, people know that they can come out and not get lynched. And if they get lynched, that the people who have lynched them will be prosecuted for it. And even that the liberal society will stand up in solidarity with the person that has been lynched and say, no, this has got to stop. Do I agree with the argument that there are other issues apart from LGBT issues, and why do we have to make LGBT issues the priority? I don't. And this is the reason why I don't. And people have to conceptualize it. The fact that we don't have hospitals, the fact that we don't have good roads, the fact that the educational system is falling, the fact that our leaders are corrupt, it's not my fault. One intellectual says, the leaders are a reflection of the society. So it is not my fault that, a governor of a state is going from his office to his house and there are 10 patrol cars following him and blowing siren for 10 minutes drive. That is not my problem, but it is my problem because I want to live. And that is why it became an issue. Not having electricity will kill you if you find yourself in accident and emergency and the machine is gone off to resuscitate you and you die. but I can get lynched just for walking down the street, and that's why it matters to me. To me, it is a matter of life and death. And I think it's a huge disservice for somebody to tell me, but there are no lights. Why are you talking about yourself? What's my business with there are no lights? Light affects heterosexuals as much as it affects homosexuals. So it is not a privilege that I have, that because I'm gay, I will have lights. No. And those are the things that we brought on ourselves because of bad governance, because we failed to understand that the followers are the leaders, and it's not the other way around. And until we get to that point, I can't rescue us. But I just want to wake up in the morning, have a job, come back home, do everything that everybody do without having to watch my back. And until people think that I do not have the rights, then I will make it an issue above electricity, above roads. And also there are different ways we carry our cross, if I'm going to use that word. I wrote an article attacking child marriage in Nigeria because I don't think every girl should be married off. I think every girl to the age of 21 should have access to quality, life-transforming education. I think it's a crime for you to marry off a 13-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old girl. I don't even care if they get to the age of consent. Let them have access to education, and there is no excuse for it. I'm passionate about that. But at the same time, I said something once, and it was about the guy that went on hunger strike at Mosiri University. And I said, until your activism becomes personal, you will never get passionate about it. My sexuality is personal, and that is why I'm passionate about it. That is why the corner that I fight. If somebody don't like it, choose your corner and fight for it. That's not my business. My assessment of African literature, beautiful, beautiful. I grew up, loving Chinua Achebe, loving Ayikwe Ama. I think for me, being introduced to The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, just like, those kind of things that just get stuck with you, and everywhere you go, you just remember almost every letters in it. Amata Aido, all these beautiful writers who were telling us what it was like to grow up as a writer under the pressure and the burden of white colonialism, of racism, of land grabbing, of the dehumanizing and degrading essence of being an African, to this period of, we have writers who are telling the story of love, of joy, of success, from film to online, to books, to blogs. It's amazing how much we've come. And, like Chimamanda said, we've gone beyond the single story realm. We tell a lot of stories now. Currently, we have a fantastic writing. I want to see more writing on sexual orientation and gender identity. And I think the future is as poetic as our writings are. This festival is, for me, the best that can come from out of Africa. And you have to excuse me because I'm saying that because I'm partial. I'm Nigerian. My mom is from Owu in Abeokuta. And this festival is happening in Abeokuta. So I'm partial about the fact that it's the best. But if I'm not going to be partial, the quality of writers, the quality of panels, the quality of conversation, it's just amazing, and these are Africans, talking about their reality, about their writing, about the challenges, about their inspiration, which I find really encouraging. I never considered myself a writer, but people have been telling me, you write. Because again, I write opinion pieces. I write about my experience. So I'm not a creative writer, but I feel so much at home here. It's been memorable for me, and to think I arrived about 4 days ago, and I'm really, honestly, I am really, really enjoying myself. The food is amazing. I love the food. And yesterday morning, I got lost dancing bata. I have not danced one in 9 years. So it's really good to be back to the motherland. But I also know I'm as safe as long as I'm here.